Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be talking about inversions and how you can use inversions to create dynamics in worship songs. So first thing is, what is an inversion? So if you take the key of C, it's three notes. It's your root note, which is C, your major third, which is an E, and then your perfect fifth, which is a G. So it's three notes. You can play this chord three different ways. So this would be your root chord. And then if you want to play the first inversion, all you do is you take your bottom note and you bring it up an octave. So now you're playing E, G, C. So this is your first inversion of the key of C. And then if you want to play the second inversion, you just bring the middle note, which is E, and you bring it up an octave to right there. So then you play your C chord like this. And then if you bring it up one more octave, you're back to your root note. So root, first inversion, second inversion. Bring it up one more, and you're back to your root. And if you're a new piano player, it's really important to memorize and really know your inversions. Because if you play a C chord like this, there's other chords in a song that you can play close to this C chord, and it'll give it one kind of a sound. If you move your C chord up to here, you can play those same chords and using different inversions that's close to this pattern. And if you bring it up to the second inversion, you can play different chords around this position, and it'll give it a whole different sound. But the first thing that you want to do when you're learning inversions, you want to use the correct finger position. When you play the root position, you're going to play it using fingers 1, 3, and 5. And the reason for that is you have two open notes here. And so you have two open fingers, fingers 2 and 4. And then when you move to your first inversion, you want to use fingers 1, 2, and 5. So there's a bigger gap between your 5 note and your 1 note at the top, so these two fingers fit nicely right there. And then when you go up to your second inversion, I actually like to play it with fingers 1, 2, and 4. Some people play it 1, 3, and 5, which you can, but I like using 1, 2, and 4. The reason for that is if you don't use finger 4 here and you use fingers 1, 3, and 5, well, you're using fingers 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5, and you go up again, you're back to 1, 3, 5. So you're never using finger 4. And when I first started playing piano, that's how I did it. I only used fingers 1, 2, 3, and 5 to play chords. And anytime that I would come across a song where I needed to play with my fourth finger, I just didn't have the strength, and I would always hit wrong notes, or I wouldn't hit it hard enough. And I was always making mistakes with this finger 4. So over the years, I've realized use finger 4 when you're playing the second inversion, and that will help build strength as you're just playing chords and songs. It'll really help build strength in that finger. So one thing I like to practice to memorize these finger patterns is to use arpeggios to walk up and down the inversions. I like to do 2 octaves. So if we're going to start in the key of C, I'm going to start here and that'll end 2 octaves up. So basically, there's my root, and then you walk up first inversion using the correct fingers, second inversion using my finger 4, and then you go back up to the root. You go up to the first inversion, and then you come back down. And then you end it. Now, regardless of what key you're practicing these inversions in, you're always going to use the same finger pattern. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 4. Like that. So if you're in the key of A, it's the same thing. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 4. If you're in the key of F sharp, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 4. And so if you want to go up 2 octaves, let's go back to the key of C. And walk down. So you do that, and then you try to see how fast you can go. And you just keep practicing and practicing until you can just... Okay, so that is how you practice an inversion. And it's important to do it in every key once you have it in the key of C. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the 3 most important chords you can learn as a piano player. So it's 1, 4, and 5. So your 1 chord is going to be whatever key you're in. If we're in the key of C, then C is our 1 chord. If you're in the key of G, then G is your 1 chord. If you're in the key of F sharp is your 1 chord. So we're in the key of C. C is our 1 chord. Now, what you want to do is you want to find chords 4 and 5, but you want to play those using inversions that are the closest position to this root chord of C. So your 4 chord is an F, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's an F chord, but it's pretty far away from this position. So you have to move your hand quite a bit to play that. So what you want to do is find a shared note from this C chord that also matches the 4 chord. So if you play an F, F, A, and C. Well, the C note is also in a C chord. So if you bring this C down here, now you're playing your F like this. And so to transition between my 1 chord, which is C, and my 4 chord, which is an F, I'm only changing 2 fingers. And this C note is the anchor, or the shared note between these 2 chords. So that's the same rule. If you're going to play in the key of G, find your root position, and it's the same thing. Your 4 chord in the key of G, 1, 2, 3, 4, is a C chord. So here's your G, and here's your C. Again, G is the top note of your C chord. You bring that down an octave, and you're going to play it here. So that's how you transition between your 1 and your 4. That's your shared note. And that works with every other key. If you want to do it in the key of D, now you know that this is your anchor note, and you just have to move up to the G, 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's your 4th chord. In the key of E, here's your anchor note. If you're in the key of F sharp, here's your anchor. So going from a 1 to a 4 chord is exactly the same fingers. You're using fingers 1, 3, 5, and you jump up to 1, 3, 5, and you jump back down to 1, 3, 5. So that's going from a 1 to a 4. If you want to go to a 5 chord, here's your C. Let's find the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a G. Here's how you play your G chord. What note is shared between the G chord and the C chord? It's this G note. And so if you use inversions, you don't want to play the G in the root position. Let's try it in the first inversion. So we'll bring our D down here. So here's a C, and here's a G. It's close, but we're still moving all 3 fingers to change chords. So let's bring this B down in inversion. So now we'll play it here. That works great because now my finger 5, my pinky, is stuck on this G note. And that's my shared note between these 2 chords. So you're trying to find the closest position of chords 4 or 5 to match with your root position. So here's your 1, here's your 5. Here's your 1, here's your 4, 1, 5, and 1. So once you find the closest position, then you want to practice those chords. Now let's jump to the key of G. We already found our 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a C. Now let's find our 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, this was our shared note, because we went back in the key of C. Our top note was our shared between our 1 and our 5. So it works the same thing. If you're in the key of G, the top note is the shared note. Now you just need to find your 5 chord, which is a D. So it's D in the first inversion. Here's your root, here's your first inversion. So in the root position, your 1 chord's in the root, your 4 chord is in the second inversion, your root, and then your 5 chord is in your first inversion. So root, second inversion, first inversion. And so that pattern is going to work for every key. If you want to do it in the key of B, go to your root position, which is your 1. Your 4 chord, remember the lower note is your anchor. And when you go to 1 to 5, your top note is the anchor. If you want to move to, let's do the key of A. Going from 1 to 4, my bottom note is the anchor. And then if you want to go to 1 to 5, my top note is the anchor. Let's go to D. go to E. Let's go to F. Right, so it works with every single key. You're using the same finger patterns, the same inversions, the same roots to hit the closest chord to your root position. Now, why is 1, 4, and 5 so important? Why are those 3 chords the most important ones to learn? Here's why. You can play every worship song using just those 3 chords. If you're a new piano player and you want to learn how to play a bunch of worship songs, learn these 3 chords in your right hand, and then that will play over all of the other bass notes that could possibly be in that chord. And so that idea, I call it the major scale chord progression, where you have basically 7 chords in the major scale, and it follows the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So with the major scale chord progression, 1, 4, and 5, we just learned those. Those are all major chords. And then you have minor chords, which is your 2 and your 6. So 2 and 6 are minor chords, and then your slash chords are 3 and 7. So if you notice 1 over 3, you can play your 1 chord over that 3 bass, your 4 chord, your 5 chord, and then your 1 chord. Now the 5 over 7, here's your 5 chord, and then there's your 7 bass. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your 7 is the bass note, your 5 is your right hand. So here's your 1 over 3, your 4, your 5 over 7, and your 1. And again, you're only playing 3 chords in your right hand. It's 1, 4, and 5. Now for the 2 minor and the 6 minor, you play those as minor 7s. So in the key of C, it'd be a D minor. The easier way to play it is as a minor 7. Another way to think about it is a 4, because you're playing the 4 chord over that 2 bass. Same thing when you go to the 6 minor. It'd be an A minor, but you can also play it as A minor 7, which is going to be the G note. So an A minor 7 is a C chord over that A bass. So the 1 chord works for the 1 chord, your 1 over 3, and your 1 over 6, or your 6 minor. Your 4 chord also works for the 2, and then your 5 chord works for the 5 over 7. So that's how you can cover all 7 chords by only playing 3 chords in your right hand. So if you follow that major scale and walk up, here's your 1, your 2 minor, or your 4 over 2, 1 over 3, your 4, your 5, your 6 minor 7, or I call it 1 over 6, your 5 over 7, and your 1. So that's the major chord scale in a nutshell. You're using 3 chords in your right hand to play all 7 chords in that major scale chord progression. Like that. So that is how you play that progression with your C chord in the root position. Now let's do that same thing, but we'll move it up to the second inversion. So you want to find your 4 chord, which is now your F is in your root position, your C is in your first inversion, and then that's your shared note between your G. So those are the 3 chords that you're going to play. 1, 4, and again, when you go to the 4, the top note is the shared note between your 1 and 4. And when you go between your 1 and your 5, your G note, or your middle note, is the shared note between your 1 and your 5. And again, it's the same for every other key. So if you want to go to D and you want to play it in the first inversion, well, here's your root. Your first inversion, your D is going to be at the top. Your top note's going to be the shared note between your 1 and your 4. And when you go to 1 to 5, your middle note is going to be the shared note between your 1 and your 5. Same idea with every key. If you want to do in the key of E, here's your 1 in the first inversion. So 1 to 4, top note is the shared note. 1 to 5, your middle note is the shared note. If you want to do it in B, you want to do it in F, do it in F sharp. So as you're going through different keys, the more you practice, the more you'll remember and just kind of realize which fingers you need to use, because it's the same pattern through every single key. Now you use that same 4 chords in this first inversion to follow that major scale. So it's 3 chords in your right hand. Actually, let's do it in C. And then your bass note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So remember, it's 1, your 2 minor, or your 4 over 2, 1 over 3, your 4, your 5, your 6 minor. Again, we played as 1 over 6, 5 over 7, and your 1. Like that. So you can hear the difference if you go back to the root position. Or the first inversion. It gives it a little bit of a different sound. Now let's go to the second inversion. So we're going to play our 1 note or our 1 chord in the second inversion, which is our C. And then if you want to go between the 1 and the 4 chord, the C note is the shared note between your F and your C. Your 1 and your 4. And if you want to jump between 1 and 5, your G note is the shared note between your 1 and your 5. And then that follows the same major scale progression as you walk up. So 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. You follow this major scale. So here's your 1, 2 minor, 1 over 3, 4, 5, 1 over 6, or your 6 minor 7, 5 over 7, and your 1. So I'm going to play all 3 progressions. We'll start with the root position. And we'll go to the first inversion. And we'll go to the second inversion. We'll go up one more time. And so that is 3 different ways using inversions you can play this major scale chord progression. Okay, so now I'm going to show you 3 worship songs, and I'm going to go over each inversion group for each song, and I'm going to show you how you can give a different lift or a different sound to each song. So this first one, I'm going to do Goodness of God. I'll do this in the key of C. So here's your 1, your 2 minor, your 3, your 4, your 5, 6 minor, 5 over 7, and your 1. So if we do the chorus of Goodness of God, it goes, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. On that 5, all I did was I just add that sus4 of God. Now let's bring it up in inversion. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. We're bringing it back to the root. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. So now the next song I want to do is Holy Forever, and we'll do this in the key of G. My favorite one is to start with the first inversion. So here's your root, here's your first inversion. So with your right hand, just make sure you can play these 3 chords. And with your left hand, you'll walk up the major scale. So here's your 1, your 2 minor, 1 over 3, your 4, your 5, your 6 minor, or your 1 over 6, your 5/7, and your 1. So if we do the chorus, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, holy forever. Hear your people sing, holy, to the King of Kings, holy, da 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 da, holy, holy forever. Let's jump in up in inversion, and the angels cry, holy, da 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 da, holy, holy, holy forever. See, when you jump up in inversion, you kind of can follow the melody line. A little bit with your right hand. Let's jump up in inversion. Let's jump up an inversion. Right, so once you learn these different inversions, you can start to add a couple different notes and kind of some fancy stuff in there. Right, but it's all based around these 4 chords, or these 4 chords, or these 4 chords. So once you get those 3 groups, it makes it so much easier to start to add extra stuff in there. So the next song I want to show you is Living Hope. I'll do this in the key of A. Let's make sure we have our 3 chords. So in the key of A, here's our first inversion. You want to find the 4 chord. Remember, the top note is our shared note between the 4 and the 1. And between the 1 and the 5, it's our middle note. And the left hand, you follow that major scale. Your 2 minor, your 1/3, your 4, your 5, 6 minor, 5/7, and your 1. So if you go to the chorus. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. So that's the first inversion. Let's go to the second version. Play that same chorus. Actually, let's come down here. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, that lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation inversion. Hallelujah, the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. Salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Another thing you can do is once you get really good at jumping between these inversions, you can just flow in between them without having to stick in one group, right? So how you can see right, so here I'm kind of in that first inversion. Move up. So I hope this lesson helps. It just kind of shows you how you can take 4 chords, your 1 chord, your 4 chord, your 5 chord, find the shared note so that you can quickly find those chords, whether you're playing in your root position, your first inversion, or your second inversion. Those 3 chords can be played over any of the bass notes in the chords of the song, all 7 of them. And you can use those 3 inversion groups to create dynamics and help meet the need of the song. So I hope that lesson helps. Thanks for watching.